G'day, and a fine howdy hey guys, I'm Camming Carrera, and just a small little thing. As you can tell, it's kind of like, well, as we're recording this, it's October 30th, so if you are planning on celebrating Halloween, All Hallows, All Saints Eve, Samhain, and Day of the Dead, and all the other Halloween-ish events coming up to the end of this month, then, you know, and I hope you enjoy your little event. I know a lot of people overseas tend to celebrate Halloween, especially, a lot more than normal, and, you know, people from, like, I'll just use America as an example. You know, I have a lot of American people on Discord, and when I hear them talking about, you know, what they're gonna dress up for Halloween, they turn around and normally ask me, "Oh, Haley, what are you doing for Halloween?" And unfortunately, here in Australia, at least to the part that I grew up in, we don't normally traditionally celebrate Halloween that much. I guess it's mainly the culture over here. Like, I don't really know how to explain it. It's like more of an American thing, even maybe a British thing. I don't really know. I don't really know if the British celebrate Halloween or something. But I'm gonna tell a story time, and it's of my first ever trick or treating experience, I guess, as a kid. It doesn't end with a happy ending, unfortunately, because I live in Australia, so it ended rather poorly, but yeah. I was about, let's just say, just trying to picture the class I was in, because then I can give a more accurate age. I guess I was like 8 years old, 6, 7... Well, maybe nine. I was probably like a 9-year-old kid, and I noticed a lot of the kids were talking about, you know, doing Halloween events. You know, some of them were dressing up for parties, and that was really the first time I kind of like heard of people actually properly celebrating this holiday, I guess. Is it even a holiday? It's more of like an event, I guess, than a holiday, but, you know, whatever. I mean, we still had to go to school on Halloween at times, so we didn't really get a choice. But I noticed a lot of kids, you know, they were dressing up as zombies, princesses, and all that. And I guess I kind of, like, went on the school computer and looked it up, and I noticed there was a whole, like, thing over Halloween. You know, you go to door trick-or-treating, and I have never really heard about it until that point in my life, and I was like, whoa, what is this culture? Why am I not a part of this culture? Where am I? But what I didn't understand is that, of course, the videos I was looking at online over Halloween and stuff like that were more American-based videos. I'm going to be saying American a lot in this video, unfortunately. But, they're more like videos based in, you know, the Americas and, you know, the United States culture and all that. To which I will just say, yes, people in the United States, you do have a culture. Halloween is one of them. There you go. I'm not going to list it all, but, you know, you do have a culture. Fight to me. I will stand my ground with that opinion. But, I found it weird, so I remember asking my mum, and at first she was like, you know, fuck that, we're not doing Halloween. And I couldn't really understand why, because I saw all the costumes, well, the main interest of mine was, oh shit, you get candy with this? Hell yeah, sign me up. That was the only reason why I really probably wanted to do Halloween, was, like, the candy. The dress up was a bonus, but, like, the sugar, And I remember begging my mum the whole week, and by the end of it, she was like, you know what, fuck it, sure, we're gonna do Halloween. And so I dressed up. I don't even remember what I dressed up as. Like, I guess my memory was kind of repressed for that because of what happened. I'll explain in a moment as to why that is. But, so I remember getting, ready for it, and I was all happy and excited because, I'm gonna get candy. So I got a little bucket and everything. And we started to, walk down our street. Now, I gotta explain the type of town we lived in, because that also plays a part in the culture of where I lived, because as I've come to grow up older, I found a lot more friends that I have, they do celebrate Halloween, and they somehow manage to have a good trick-or-treating experience. And I guess it depends on the area you grew up in. They grew up mainly closer to the city, where I didn't. The town I lived in as a child, you look to your left, you got all these houses, and you look to your right, and you got all these you got all this cattle and sheep and paddocks of vine and vineyards and all that. So we're very much on the border of nowhere. So, there was a lot of backwards thinking people. There was a lot of, more traditional Australians than there were, modern Australians. So I didn't really grow up with the tablet in my arms, because the tablet wasn't invented then. Surprise, surprise. Take that, adults! I never grew up with a tablet. I did grow up with a laptop, though. It was a very shitty laptop. It wasn't even mine, it was my mum's. But, anyway, tangent over. So I remember walking down the street with my mum. I think my brother went with me as well. I'm not 100% sure of that. But I gotta yawn. I'm a bit tired. I'm getting old. But I remember walking down the street, and I knocked on this house. Now, you couldn't tell who was doing trick-or-treating or not, because, unlike overseas in America, where, you put out, your pumpkins and you decorate, and that normally says, oh, I'm doing Halloween, come knock on my door, we'll give you candy. Whereas here in Australia, no one really decorated their house. Sure, nowadays you might see the odd pumpkin or skeleton or fake cobweb bullshit here or there, but there was no teepee, there was no pumpkins, there was no kids all over the street. It was just, a dark spring night, because it's currently spring for me. I know, spring in October, who would have thought? The perks of being in the southern hemisphere, But, so it was hot. It wasn't getting cold, it was a hot night. I remember that because I was sweltering in my little costume, whatever it was. I remember the temperature, but I can't remember the outfit for my life. But I remember going up to this door, I knocked on it. There was no indication of whether they did trick-or-treating on any of the houses in that street. So, I winged it, I was like, yeah, sure. And out came this 50-year-old-ish woman. She's probably, very old by now, but she was she looked 50-ish, and, she had slightly greyish hair, so she was, she was getting there. And she looks down at me, and I, do the stupid kid thing, going, oh, twick or tweet. She looks down at me, and this is the first house I've ever done trick-or-treating at. She looks down at me, dead in the eyes, and goes, we don't do trick-or-treating here in Australia. That's an American thing. Sorry. And she closes the door on me. And my mum laughs behind me because she's like, ah, that's funny ass. But I'm sitting there oh my god, that was so fucking horrible. The first door I happen to knock on, the lady's like, nah, fuck you, bye. I didn't buy any candy for you. What country do you think we're in? Spain? No, get out. It's oh. So that was my first ever trick-or-treating experience, I guess. Thanks, you old hag. You didn't need a costume for that. You look like one anyway. That's kind of mean of me. I probably shouldn't say that, but oh well. But yeah, it was really upsetting for me. I remember not really wanting to do trick-or-treating that night anymore, and my mum was like, oh, come on, you put all this effort in on begging for trick-or-treating, And I was like, oh, I don't want to do it anymore. I had one bad experience. I've seen what war is like. I don't want to do it anymore. But yeah, I learnt later on in life, a lot more kids tended to, do trick-or-treating. Like, kids at, the second high school I attended, I've been to 2 high schools. I normally nickname them the red uniform and the blue uniform. The red is the first high school I attended, and the blue is the second I attended. So the one with the blue uniform, I tend to find that because that is the school that is closer to, like, civilization, I guess is the best way to put it. It's all built up, there's more modern culture, everyone has a fucking iPhone in their hand, everyone's, like, taking Snapchat pictures, squeezing their boobs together, I don't know, fake tans, dyeing the tips of their hair blonde, I don't know, it was a very weird place for me when I moved there. It was like, where am I? Jumped into the future 20 years, but I tend to find that whenever I stayed home Halloween, they'd be like, Haley, so what did you do for Halloween? I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? I'm like, Haley, did you not celebrate Halloween? And I'm like, no, why would I celebrate Halloween? It's like, because it's Halloween. We all went as a big group for trick-or-treating and we got tons of candy. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, how's it that me as an adorable little kid, I was probably an ugly little fucker thinking back, but how is me as a little kid get no on the first door I knock on because this old hag is stingy with all the candy and is like, oh, I need the American thing. But, like, these grown-ass children, right, I shouldn't even say children, these grown-ass kids, like, they were, like, I don't know, nearly 17, 18, so, like, I don't know how old they were, I forget, they're all weird. You're all weirdos. Oof. I'm getting a lot of Facebook messages from just saying that alone. But, yeah, they're all getting candy and shit, and I was sitting at home like, what the fuck? How is my first experience bad? But then when they bend over, they're getting little old ladies like, oh, of course, Sonny. How old are you? Oh, you look 25. Oh, here's a Snickers and a Kit Kat and a Tic-Toc cookie. You know what? I'm just going to give you some heroin in your basket just because I think your costume is extra adorable. Don't tell the police. Like, what the fuck did I just... Oh my god. But, yeah, so Halloween, I don't really celebrate it. My mum actually recently bought a carved, like, a pumpkin you could carve, I guess. Even though she's never carved a pumpkin before, she asked the guy, like, oh, can we eat this? And he's like, what the fuck, no. So she's thinking we're probably going to carve this pumpkin tomorrow, to which I'm just going to wait for it to rot on the counter, because she won't touch it, knowing her. But, yeah. I hope you enjoyed that little ramble of crap I just did. Also, if you're wondering about the character I'm currently drawing on screen right now, it is a witch meant to, like, celebrate Halloween, oh, spooky season, draw a witch. I was originally gonna have, like, a pendulum that she'd be holding, and then it turned into a necklace, and then last minute I decided, no, I didn't want that as her necklace, so, I kept that out, and I just gave it a little cauldron. I kind of got inspired by her design from the Fluorite gem, which I forget what Fluorite's properties are. I think it's like mental health and all that. I'd have to look at a book or something to correct myself, but I'm just gonna say mental health. You can just Google it. I don't know. I'm not your teacher. But, yeah, I hope you enjoyed this story time. You probably should, celebrate Halloween if that's what you do, or any other event, Day of the Dead, Samhain, All Saints, All Hallows, all the other events, I guess. I don't know. There's so many. Why is there so many? Why can't they just say October to November, Spoopy Day? Like, I'd prefer Spoopy Day than all these other names. But no. So yeah.